Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be looking at a death metal band called Public Grave. I've never heard of them, so I had to do a little bit of research, and unfortunately I didn't come up with very much. From what I understand, they're an independent band, so it seems that information about them was very limited. But what I did find was Public Grave are a German death metal band from Fürstenfeldbruck in Bavaria, and they were formed in 2008, so they've only been going for about 8 years. And to date, they have released 2 demos, 1 EP, and they released a full-length album last year. That's all I found. And I'm going to be looking at a track called Realm of the Rotten. Ooh, excuse me, just randomly locking cables. So yeah, a track called Realm of the Rotten. Couldn't find any lyrics floating about on the internet for it, but as I understand it, the song is a lyric video, so I will have at least some lyrics to look at, although lyric videos, I tend to forget what half the words are by the time I get around to talking about them. But regardless of that, we'll see what happens. So I think we'll get straight to it. We'll go Realm of the Rotten by Public Grave. Let's have a look. Well, one thing I can definitely say about them is they are quite a heavy band. The song itself seems to be about zombies, but I'm wondering if there is a little bit of subtext to it. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're talking about, like, we're walking through life like zombies. We're not living life anymore. We're just sort of existing, sort of meandering through. Because there was a couple of lines in there, I can't remember exactly how they were, but that sort of gave me that idea. That maybe they were suggesting that. But yes, zombies became a very common theme like a year or two ago, didn't they? There were huge. There was all like these Walking Dead TV shows and loads of bands who wrote songs about undeads and zombies and stuff like that. So, but like I said, pretty heavy, pretty good. Carry on. Doesn't that drum riff remind you of Metallica's One? Maybe it's just me. Yeah, what a way to end a song. I like it. As I said, very, very intriguing band. Really quite heavy. Decent sounding band. They had pretty good music going on in there, even though there was that momentary part that sounded a bit like the drums from Metallica's One. But I mean, even that wasn't bad. It just sounded a lot like that riff. It was a similar riff, but played slightly differently. But anyway, that's not the point. The song itself, it doesn't look that deep and meaningful on the surface. It just seems to be a song about zombies. But I do think there is some subtext to it. They're going on about killing only leads to defeat, and we end up destroying mankind, etc. And I think this is basically talking about the way we live our lives at the moment. I could be reading too much into it. It could just simply be a song about zombies. But I think there is a definite... I do think there is a bit of subtext talking about how, we're essentially going to end up destroying ourselves just because of the way we live our lives. We're so apathetic, and, we don't care about other people. We're also self-involved. We're just going through life looking out for ourselves. And, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. But, it was a pretty decent song. Like I said, pretty heavy. The music was good. The vocal style was good. There was a slight mix-up in the vocals. There was a couple of tone changes. So, as I've said before, I do like that. It's something I like when people change up the vocals a little bit. For the most part, he was going for the deep, guttural death metal growls, but every now and then there was a bit of a higher pitch, sort of almost screamed type of vocal, but it wasn't a large, consistent part of the vocal. But it was still very good. I will have to see if I can find their album and give that a listen to, because I did quite enjoy that. Yes. Can't really think of much else to say about it. From what I understand, looking at the album, a lot of the track list, it does seem to centre around the undead. So, but like I said, maybe I was reading too much into that song, but who knows? Maybe the whole album is talking about the way mankind is headed and how we're basically just walking around like mindless zombies. Well, I guess I'll never know. But still, it was very, very good. I can't think of much else to say about it. So I'm going to leave it at that. If anybody else would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so by all means. Drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you can even message me on my Patreon should you feel the urge to help support me, to help me make these videos in the future. It'd be greatly appreciated, but obviously isn't necessary. Just know that if you do suggest a track, it will take me a while to get around to it, as you know, I get suggested dozens and dozens of tracks every single day, and my list of songs grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it will get done eventually. It's just going to take me a while to get around to it. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation. They are a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, especially those that are aimed at people of the alternative subculture, those who listen to alternative music and wear alternative fashion. It's a charity that I think is very worthwhile and definitely needs more attention brought to it, because every single day we hear about all these other hate crimes like racism, sexism, you know, homophobia, transphobia, prejudice against disabled people, religious hatred. You know, we hear about these things every single day in the news, in the media and whatnot. But what we don't hear enough about is these people that are getting violently attacked, people who are getting seriously hurt by just because of the music that they listen to. You know, people are getting viciously hurt because of the music they listen to. Yeah, people are attacking them because they don't like the music they listen to. It makes no sense. You don't attack someone because they like different movies or books or magazines or TV shows or flavours of crisps to you, do you? You don't attack them because of that. So why would you attack someone for their taste in music? It makes no sense. But it's happening every day all over the world, and people are getting seriously hurt, and it needs to stop. You know, I mean, when it comes to the point where a young woman loses her life because somebody didn't like the music she listened to, it gets beyond ridiculous. You know, killing someone, whether intentionally or not, just because they like different music to you, is unacceptable. I mean, this young woman and her boyfriend were set upon. Whilst they were walking home, minding their own business, there was just the two of them, and they were set upon by a group of people who didn't know them. They had no idea who they were, didn't know them from Adam. But just because they were wearing alternative fashion, just because they listened to alternative music, this group of people thought it was an acceptable thing to attack them. And they beat them very viciously. The boyfriend, thankfully, he survived. But the young woman, Sophie Lancaster, was beaten to death. She died from her injuries just because this group of people didn't like the music that they listened to or the clothes that she was wearing. It is unacceptable that this sort of thing should happen. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation want to put an end to. They don't want anybody else to have to go through what they went through. They don't want anybody else to have to sit by their child's bedside and watch them slowly die because somebody couldn't accept that they were different, couldn't accept that that person was an individual. Everybody has the right to be an individual. You know, everybody has a right to have a different taste, different choice, different opinion. Everybody has the right to do this. And just because you don't agree with someone else's choice or taste doesn't give you an excuse to attack them. It's unacceptable. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can, because I tend to waffle on and go off on tangents. And, you know, if you can help them in any way, even something as simple as one of these Sophie Lancaster bracelets, I think they're only like £1 on the store. They've got a bunch of other merchandise in there that you might, you know, if you feel like having a look, you know, the smallest amount makes the biggest difference, and the sooner we can bring more attention to this, the sooner we can stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye bye.